Okay, good evening, everyone. You're very welcome to this talk this evening about higher education at SERC, and particularly we're going to focus on some of the courses we have available in the School of Health and Care. So you'll have the opportunity tonight to listen to some of the information about the courses that we offer, the progression that will offer you, and please, I would recommend making use of the question and answer facility, because two of my colleagues, Rosie and Judith, are in the chat box and they can answer your questions specifically about the level 4, level 5 courses. You'll have an opportunity at the end, so if you want to wait till then, that's absolutely fine, but please feel free to just type in any question. If you don't know the answer, it's not a silly question, so if it's about funding or about progression or UCAS or anything at all, please feel free to ask at any time. So probably take around about 20 minutes or so if based upon what we've done before, but I'll just start the presentation now for you. Okay, so what we're really trying to do tonight is to get our next generation of professionals into the School of Health and Care. Our focus in health and care is mainly around management of nursing and residential units with our level 5, nursing and social work with our level 4 offerings, but we also have some other offerings as well, which we'll touch upon later this evening. Okay, so you're very welcome, as I said, tonight. The focus is on our higher education courses, those specifically aimed at over 18s. So we're going to give you a brief opportunity to meet some of the staff members that you would be working with next year. We'll look, as I said, at the main courses that we offer in the School of Health and Care. We're going to look briefly at the structure and what the course looks like in terms of what you'll study and when you'll study it and the days that you'll study it. Very importantly, the progression. So where will the course take you? What steps will it help you get to in the next step in your career? We'll give you some student testimonials, so some past students have very kindly shared their experiences of level 4, and you'll see some more of those on the website as well, and they're interesting to read because it helps you understand people who've been on the same journey as yourself. And then, as I said, at the very end, you have an opportunity for a question and answer, so make the most of that and all the way throughout. Okay, so some of the team on the left hand side, that's my colleague Rosemary Peters, in the middle is Judith Gordon, and on the right hand side that's myself, Frank Carter, and we all work in the School of Health and Care and different campuses. Some other staff that you may experience, and this is not them all, but you may come in contact with over the next year or two, is Jenny Rice, Laura Hughes, Susan Lenihan, Deborah Flynn and Susan Annett. And one of the things we like to stress about our team at SERC is we're all registered health and social care professionals, so need that be social workers, nurses, midwives, health visitors, whatever that is. The people that will be teaching you and supporting you and helping you get through your 1 or 2 years at SERC are registered professionals in the profession that you generally want to go into. So we have an understanding what it's like to make that journey through higher education and then beyond, and the challenges that we face in these particular times. I promised myself within 3 minutes I wouldn't mention COVID, but we're obviously going to try and have an understanding of that when we look at how studying has been this year and how studying may be next year. So we'll talk about that briefly as well. Okay, the 3 main courses that we have on offer that we're going to talk about tonight in no particular order are our 2 Pearson BTEC level 4 qualifications. So we have an HNC, which is a Higher National Certificate in Social and Community Work Practice, and that's offered both full-time and part-time in our ARDS campus. We also have a Pearson BTEC level 4 HNC in healthcare practice, and that is full-time and part-time in both ARDS and our Lisburn campus. And then the level 5 cash diploma in leadership for health and social care services, which is focusing on adult management, and that's offered part-time in our Downpatrick campus. So those are the offerings that you will see on the website that you can apply for, and the website also will have a little bit more information and the opportunity to ask more questions. So if you happen to go onto the website tomorrow and see something which you're not sure about, there's a facility to ask a question. So ask that question and make use of the knowledge within the school. Okay, so some of the general course progression through higher education, and I realise most of you may know this, but it's probably important to understand where the level 5 HNC, where that sits, and it sits above your A level, your extended diploma, your access course, and it's through to the progression for university. So university is level 4, 5 and 6. First year, second year, third year. On your HNCs, you will leave SERC with a level 4 qualification. through your diploma, your cash diploma, you will leave with a level 5 qualification, and that's obviously required if any of you are looking to do residential management or nursing home management. Okay. All right, so the first course we're going to talk about is the two offerings for the HNC. And the reason we put them together is the courses are very similar, although one is focused on healthcare and the other focused on social community. They have a lot of the same staff, they actually have quite a few of the same units, and they generally have relatively similar timetables. Both courses, the full-time offering is a 1-year course. That's starting in September and finishing around about May, and it's 3 days per week. Now this year, because of the current situation, that has been 2 days per week online learning and 1 day per week on campus. Now, as we progress through and hopefully things improve, we would very much hope to get back to that. But at the moment, it's really, really difficult to say. And one of the most common questions we're getting is how many days a week will it be in class? And at the moment, it's really hard for us to say that with any definites. But as soon as we're updated and as soon as we know and the general education sector knows, we'll obviously inform you of that as well. Both courses have a part-time offering, and the part-time course is exactly the same course, so same units, same teachers, same assessments. It's run over 2 years rather than one, and it's 1 day per week rather than 3 days per week. And again, traditionally that's always been run alongside the full-time course, so you would be in class with full-time students, and it's really so we can integrate it into a bigger group. The HNC offering between ours and Lisburn sees around about 85-90 students between full and part-time, so it's quite a substantial course on both campuses. One of the key features of the HNC is 225 hours relevant work placement. Now, my colleague Judith Gordon coordinates the placements, and before starting the course, we'll speak to you about what that involves. Quite often it can be your own workplace if you're working in a health and social care setting, a nursing home or care in the community, but it must be completed as part of your course, and that would either be within the year of the full-time course or the 2 years of the part-time course. As I said to you at the beginning of the presentation, you are going to be taught by registered health and social care professionals, so people who are still working in the profession and who still understand the challenges that are faced in nursing, in midwifery, in social work, in residential management, in health visiting, all those different sorts of things. Within our Ards campus, we have a clinical skills room, which has got a lot of equipment designed to show you healthcare practice in action, and that would be the likes of Judith and Deborah and Laura, who are registered nurses, and would actually be demonstrating and getting you the opportunity to practice and to learn skills and learn what it's like to actually be a healthcare professional. We are hoping by this time next year we will have a clinical room in Lisburn also, but really that's fingers crossed at the moment, but we hope so. But if not, there's an opportunity that we would be able to bring any Lisburn students to ours. At this stage, it might be useful either taking a little screenshot or writing these down, which is the two codes for the courses. So healthcare is 10637, so you can go onto the SERC website and type in 10637, or you can just Google SERC 10637 and the healthcare course will pop up, and it will have a little bit more information about the specific units you will study and how much study is expected at home and all those different sorts of things. But again, if the answer is not there, just type a question in the bottom and the question will come to one of the team who will get back to you as soon as we can with that answer. The social and community work is 10639, and it's the same code for full or part-time, but you then have the option. What I would recommend is, if you're not sure, is it full-time or is it part-time, I would recommend applying for both and then have a chat with some of the team over the next 3, 4, 5 months and work out what suits you best. Also, things can change, so it may be that you get a new job and you decide part-time suits you better, but I would recommend applying for them because there's no limit to that, so you can apply for 2 or 3. Again, if you're not sure which course is right for you, either we can advise you with that or you can speak to the Excellent Careers team, and there's careers officers on each campus. And obviously online at the moment, they'll answer any queries you have, so please feel free to make use of them. General entry requirements for our HNC, and again for both healthcare and social and community, you must have your GCSE English and Maths or equivalent in your level 2, and that's really to try to make sure that you can progress onwards towards university. It's a requirement. We have this year, for those that don't have their GCSE Maths but require it for Queen's, we have been able to run a GCSE Maths class alongside the timetable for the HNC, and we would very much hope to do that next year. We also have an opportunity for you to study your your GCSE in biology. So those are things to talk to us about, because we're very aware of the requirements you need to progress on. For your UCAS, so that the points to get onto the course, you need a minimum of 64 UCAS points, and that's usually made up of either 2 A levels, a level 3 diploma, extended diploma, or a cash extended diploma, or an access in foundation studies with an overall average of 58% and above. Now, those are quite fixed because we have to advertise them as that is our entry criteria, and then what we do is we interview students accordingly. So once the students can show us that they meet the entry criteria and they're interested in the course, we interview the students really to find out, is this the right course for them, and are they right for us? Because it's really important that we get that match correct, and it's important for you because it's a big decision making that step from further into higher education. Okay, and just something which will hopefully give some of you some confidence is that in our last academic year, those students that their first choice was nursing, midwifery, social work or psychology, which is around about 50 students, 81% are starting university or have started university this September, and their first choice degree or first choice university, and a further 15% secured full-time employment in health and care, because a level 4 will also open up many opportunities for you in the workplace, and you may decide 3 years, 4 years, 5 years later to return to education, and a level 4 is a very good foundation to move onwards with a university, with the Open University, come back to SERC, whatever works best for you. So hopefully what you'll have seen there is what the course involves, but as I said, really where the course will take you. I'm then going to talk about another course that we have on offer, and as we said, it was in Downpatrick, and it's a part-time course, and it's our level 5 diploma in leadership for health and social care services. And the idea of this course really is to allow you to lead others in our adult social care provision in Northern Ireland. So it's about those people who want to be leaders within health and social care. Now, it's quite the course requirements are significant, and this is something that I would recommend if you need further information on. You put a question in the chat box or speak to my colleague Rosemary Peters, who will be able to answer it for you. But you must be able to confirm your occupational competence, and you must be working at the moment as a deputy or in managerial level, or your workplace must give you the opportunity to carry out that role at least 1 day per week. Now, what I would recommend is having, if you're not in a managerial role at the moment, but you think that your workplace would support you with that, it's about having a conversation with them and identifying the course to them and showing them sort of the reason why you want to do it. Quite often your workplace will be very supportive because it's in their interest that your education is progressed and that your knowledge is progressed, but it's very important to make sure that you meet those requirements before you apply for the course. It may be that if you don't meet those requirements, it's about what can I do in order to meet those requirements in future. Okay, a couple of other really important criteria. Minimum age of 19 years, but that's natural enough for higher education. You must have a level 3 health and social care or childcare qualification. Again, English GCSE grade C above or your equivalent, and your access NI clearance. Oh, sorry, I just went a wee bit too fast there. That was my fault. Apology. Sorry about that. So don't miss that last bit. And you must have a signed agreement with the employer, and that is so that they will release you from your workplace for your weekly college engagement, your teaching, and also that they're involved in your professional discussions, your observations, your assessor reports. So there are some requirements that we have which we will happily give you more information on, but you would need to have a conversation with your direct line manager to make sure that they're happy with that. As I said, it's a requirement of the awarding body, but it's also a requirement of SERC that you have that signed agreement. So again, if that's something you're not sure about, just pop a question into the chat box and the team will be able to help you with that. Okay. As we said, a part-time course, and it's a 2-year program running September to June. It's envisaged that the course will be on a Thursday between 10 and 4:30, and that's the time that you will be in college, and you could be doing workshops, you could be undertaking assessment, you could be being taught, all sorts of different things, so it'll be different on a week-to-week basis. We recommend that you would require around about 10 hours per week additional study outside of college, and that's quite an undertaking because obviously you're going to be working and you're going to be studying on a Thursday, so it's about considering, can I give up that time? Now that doesn't mean sitting down for 10 hours all day on Sunday, but it means, can I take a couple of hours on Monday, can I take a couple of hours on Tuesday, and manage that? And also, look, that's a wee bit up and down as well. Some weeks will be very busy, you'll have a lot on, and other weeks it'll ease off a bit, but your tutors will help you manage that time also. Very important, depending on the setting that you're in, you may be eligible for the Department of Education funding, because the cost of the course is around about £2,000 per student. So again, that's something which I would speak specifically to the course coordinator about, but you can also speak. SERC have a really good student finance team who can support you with all issues around funding at higher education for part-time study, because there's lots of things out there which, truthfully, as tutors, they change all the time, so we're never just as up to date with all the funding opportunities and bursary opportunities. So I would recommend speak to your tutor in the first instance about that, but quite often they will direct you on to a finance officer to get some help with that. Okay, so there are 23 units in the qualification, and all students, regardless of if you're paying for it yourself or if it's funded, complete in the same manner in the same time scale. So it's no real difference to the college if your workplace is paying for it, if it's being funded. It's just that you will run alongside and your course will be exactly the same. Again, if that's the course you're interested in, the course is 10642. You can obviously type in level 5 diploma and you'll come up with it, but just if it's quite quicker, pop onto the SERC website and type in 10642 and it will pop up with the course. Okay, a few student testimonials which I'll give you an opportunity to read, but when we called out and asked students for student testimonials, our emails were extremely busy because students were more than happy to tell us about the wonderful time that they had on their level 4 courses and also on their level 5. We didn't have to pay any of them. They were all more than happy. That was students 2 years ago, perhaps maybe 3 years ago, at graduation at the Waterfront Hall, which we're very sad that we didn't have the opportunity to do this year. Our graduation is traditionally the first Friday of September of every year, but obviously because of COVID-19 we didn't get a chance this year. But so many of our students go on to professional careers, need that be paramedic science, nursing, midwifery, occupational therapy, speech and language therapy, you know, as I said to you, into management positions, that they're so happy that the learning that took place in SERC, that the support they got from their tutors, that the support they got from each other, and many, I mean, it's really interesting, even just as I look at this picture, many students that have remained very firm friends and will call into the college in 2s and 3s all the time, or pre-COVID. But I mean, there was Lauren that said the opportunity for placement gave me the chance to put the theory that I learned into practice. Since completing level 4, I'm now studying adult nursing at Queen's University, and our first 6-week placement as a student nurse. And it's really nice to hear those testimonials for us, because it helps us understand that what we're doing is helping those students, and we're learning from them as well, because both courses, or all 3 courses, are ever evolving courses, and we listen to our students and talk to them quite a lot. Now that's the end of my presentation in terms of me speaking at you. Now you're going to have the opportunity to use the question and answer function. I don't have the opportunity on my screen to see that, so it's my colleagues Judith and Rosemary who will be doing that. So if you want to ask any questions, feel free. Okay, everyone. If there are no more questions, we're going to close this session now. But as I said to you at the beginning, please make use of the website and the question function in that. And the questions will come directly to us over the next few days or week or so. And thank you very much for listening, and good luck with your future choices. Thank you very much.